Happy Monday, friends. Make sure we have sound. There it is. Oh, how's everybody? Hope you're doing well. Um, we're all good here. Yeah, finally got our snow this weekend. I mean, it's not bad. It's sticking, melting, sticking, melting, sticking, melting. So the only thing is, we know that this is just the beginning here in Northwest Pennsylvania. So let me see. I think I need to move over a little bit. So this past week was our big Stampin' Up on stage event, and we were introduced to some of the new stamp sets and products out of the upcoming 2022 catalog. And so we can't show you anything out of the catalog yet. No, I can't show you the catalog. I don't have my new one yet anyway, but we do have a couple of things that we're allowed to share. And I would share my projects that I made, but there were so many demonstrators in attendance that a lot of us were losing interruption, or we were being interrupted on our video broadcast. And so some of it I'm going to catch up. I have been catching up on the replays, but because I'm trying to do it in order, I'm a little bit behind, and I didn't get my projects made in time to share with you today. But I am going to share one of the new stamp sets that will be coming out in 2022 in the moment. And I don't know, there's some of the little greetings on here I think are perfect for some people we know. You know, you're always so good to others, be good to yourself too. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax, and you're in my thoughts. And I really like, sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is relax. That's just so true. But that's not the one that I'm using today. I'm using you're always so good to others. Because I think sometimes, especially a lot of women, moms, you know, they're running around taking their kids to school and making sure they get everywhere they need to be and so on and so forth. They forget to take care of themselves too. So this would be a good card just to send out to a friend and let them know you're thinking about them. I'm going to use, I've seen demonstrators over the last several days using some different techniques and stuff for their cards, and one of the things that I do like to do, and I don't think we've done videos so much with them, is use watercolor pencils. So that's how I'm going to use my stamp set today. And I know this keeps saying it's interrupted. I don't know if the video is being interrupted for you as well. I hope not. I don't have anything else on. Everything is closed except for this Facebook feed. I think it just doesn't like me. Well, we'll keep going. So anyways, this was my first little figure that I did with my watercolor pencils, and I was struggling because my blender pen was, I need a scrap paper. My blender pen had yellow in it and green, and it didn't matter what I was doing, all I could get out of it was yellow and green. And actually that did blend into my picture a lot there. So I went on a hunt because I knew, here, it's this one. Doesn't matter what I do, I keep getting yellow and green out of it. So I obviously didn't clean this very well when I used it at some point. So I went on a hunt for one of my new blender pens because I knew I couldn't possibly have used them all. They do come in a pack of 3. This one's good. And I just found them a little bit ago. I was pretty excited because my pink and green were, the green from my blender pen was mixing in with my pink and making it a little bit brownish. These are good. Okay. So we're set. My colors will look a little bit different when we do this today. And this is my finished card. This is with the yellowish green tint in my blender pen, so my color should look a little bit different today. But when you use your watercolor pencils and you fade the color out with the blender pens, it does make it look really watercolory. So I liked watercolor, so these are great for me. And I had the catalog because I was gonna, if you're not used to blender pens, you might just end up loving them after this. And I wanted to show you, they do come in a set of 3. I don't know how I have 4, but maybe because that one is icky. Maybe I did get a set after that. They come in a set of 3 for $12, and they are on page 129 of the catalog. So if you like this little technique today, let me know, and we can get you ordering some pens here. This is the November hostess code, shopping code. And for the month of November, when you shop with bohostamper.com, a $50 order, you will get a thank you of real red braided linen trim from me. And with a $100 order, you're going to get a thank you of the braided trim and genial gems. So there's my, oh, one more little sales pitch. Well, it's not a sales pitch. This is just like a remarkable offer. And I know I'm out of color ink on my printer, so ignore the coloring here. But you still have a couple weeks, because now through the end of November, you can join Stampin' Up! For $75, and you get $125 worth of products and free shipping. So if you've considered joining as a demonstrator for the discount and the great products and just, you know, getting to craft with friends and stuff, this is amazing. $75, and you can get $125 worth of product. That's wonderful. And you would be able to get the new stamp set from, and order stuff from the new catalog, from the Premier products. We can't order anything out of the catalog, but we have demonstrators have a list that they can order Premier products to get started on, so that we can share those things with you. Okay, so I'm going to do my card today just on basic white. One nice thing about watercolor pencils and the blender pen, you don't have to have watercolor paper, because we're not adding a lot of water to this. It's not going to have that effect. This is a red rubber stamp set, and I will stamp on my mat just to get a nice solid impression. And I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black ink. And then I'm going to give it a second to dry before I do start coloring, because when I stamp this, you'll see that it does stay wet for just a couple seconds there. And that's okay. It dries quick. And if you're really impatient, you could dry it with your heat gun if you felt the need to. I don't feel that need. I'm going to keep it a little bit away from the edges, because I did want to die cut this image out. Not with a coordinating die, but I cut out a panel with the Scalloped die from our Color and Contours bundle. Yeah, so online, or our Stampin' Up! On-stage event, which was online, was really informative so far for me. I always get a lot out of that anyways, and I think it's always very inspiring, because some of the demonstrators who do their demos live on there, they're just amazing. They're so talented. Okay, and these are the watercolor pencils. One end tells you what color the pencil is, and then of course it does have the name on here, so you can use your coordinating ink or paper, which we're going to do both. And my background paper on here, actually, this is not Calypso Coral. which is the color that I used for her fuzzy socks and for the card base. But it was, oh, I left it sit here so I could remember to show you Harvest Meadow. This was the Harvest Meadow Designer Series paper, and it had this pattern paper in here, which is really branches, and it says that it's Cajun Craze, but I don't know, I kind of liked it with the coral. It came out good, and because I was covering a lot of it up, it didn't really look like branches. I just wanted a very subtle pattern in the background. There's also a little bit of, I did blend a little bit of the Calypso Coral in the background there, but you can't really see it very much. I left it rather light on purpose. I didn't want to make it too dark. Okay, on with the coloring. This is nice and dry. Oh, I smeared her hair up there a little bit. Maybe I'll do that again. What did I drop on that? I wasn't paying attention, I guess. I guess it wouldn't show up very much, but because I think I know somebody I want to send this to, I want it to be good. Oh, and the little doggy cuddled up in the blanket. I know mine's downstairs. I don't think she's feeling very good today. She didn't really want her breakfast. She kind of is being real clingy. So I think I'm going to have to give her some love and attention here when I'm done. I'm trying to get my family's Thanksgiving Day cards ready to send out. I still have, oh, it's a fuzzy, thank goodness. But I think she's going to need some lovin's today. So I may have to adjust my schedule here and work on some of the projects downstairs by her. Okay, are we dry? So I started off using Old Olive on the blanket, and with watercolor pencils you're not really coloring in the whole image. We're kind of just gonna go over the outline, adding a little bit of color in where we think it's going to be the darkest, you know, around the shaded parts of the image. And just put some scribbles in, because this is my color. And I can use, now let me use that one that does have the green on it. And then I'll use my blender pen and just spread that color from the pencils. Isn't that pretty? You don't have to even be an artist. And just blend it out a little bit. And then remember to wipe your blender pen off and get the ink off. Obviously this one's going to stay yellow and green for the rest of my life, so I'm probably going to have to put a piece of tape around this one. I have no idea when or how I did that to that pen. I mean, it's got stuff in it still. It has whatever is in this to make it spread. I think it's sort of like a glycerin. But geez. And then I used, let me see, let me get my colors straight here. Yep, Pacific Point for her jeans. And I'm going to use Bermuda Bay on the mug, because I know there's two blues here. I want to make sure I have the right one. So I know she's going to, her jeans are going to be dark here around Puppy Dog. Around the cuff, the inside of the pant leg, behind the other leg, under a little old. And the same on this one, the outside edges. Now the harder you press, the more blue or color obviously you're going to get from your pencil. And since these are jeans, I guess they can be pretty much any depth of blue that you want it to be. But I'm going to leave that a little bit lighter on her knees because that's where the faded part would be. And then just use my blender pen, spread my watercolor pencil around. Oh, that looks so much better without the green in it from the other pencil. Whoop, wipe it off. See? That's how I ruin them. Okay. And then in her hair, I wanted her to have a little bit of, I'm kind of steering clear away from the other colors just for a minute to let the pencils dry. So I'm going to add a little bit of brown. And I think my points broke on this. I think I broke it yesterday. Add some little brownish streaks. And then, what's the yellow? Daffodil Delight. Just to give her some blonde highlights in there. And then, oh, let's use the yellow one again. Oh. And then I just blended the two together. And you, did I already say you can use watercolor pencil with these if you want to? Or I mean, water brushes, sorry. Water and paint brushes to blend out your watercolor pencils. But if you're only going to do little bits, you're still good using basic white cardstock. If you're going to start using a lot of water and trying to make it blend together more and stuff, then you're probably going to want to use a watercolor paper. Okay, little doggy. I am going to sharpen this real quick because I'm going to point of early espresso to get around his little chin there. Oh. I have no point at all. I wonder if that keeps saying it's interrupted because, oh, I keep breaking it. Good grief. Because of all the clouds. We're finally getting our snow, like I said. So, could be interfering, I suppose, with our internet provider service, I suppose. So I'm going to put a little bit of early espresso on Puppy. And I did kind of take a minute and figure out where his legs were amidst the blanket folds. So this was his back leg, and this is his front leg, because there is some blanket in there, and I didn't want to color his little leg. What did I make that blanket? Pink. Yeah, I didn't want to color his leg pink. I think I still have a broken point here. Just went along the lines of the image, under her fingers, a little bit on his ears, around his nose. And so even though the image looks a little scribbly, when you go over it with the blender pens, it smooths everything out pretty. And then again, depending on how much of the watercolor pencil you use, that's going to determine how deep the color is on puppy. Isn't that pretty? Okay. I'm going to use Calypso Coral on her fuzzy socks. I think they're fuzzy socks because I like fuzzy socks. Especially now since we have to have winter. And I really couldn't tell if this part was under her pant leg or part of her sock, so I did make it part of her sock. I could be screwing that up, but I'm not sure. And a pen. Just blend it in a little bit there. And it makes some pretty highlights. I used Bermuda Bay on her mug. Just because I didn't know what other color to make it. This is the watercolor set that I have, and I may invest and get the other ones as well because I do like, although I had watercolor pencils from before, you know, anybody who knows me knows that I have crafted for years. So prior to even getting involved, that's okay, we're going to add a little more Calypso Coral. Prior to getting involved with Stampin' Up a couple years ago, I had a lot of products. So I did have watercolor pencils before, but I do like the Stampin' Up ones. So I'm going back in and I'm going to make her socks a little bit darker. I'm just adding some more of the pencil over top of what we've already blended. And then I'll use that blender pen and blend it in with the coral that's already on here, just to give it a little bit more depth around the edges. And then while I have that coral on my pen, I'm adding it to her fingers and around her face. This is going to keep it light enough that I don't have to worry about finding the right shade to color her face in, her skin, because it's just a nice, very light color. And then we're going to use the Mambo. I wanted her to have a pink blanket. What else did we do this weekend? Oh, I went to my little shop, Extending Grace, had their, they had a private holiday open house for some of their customers, and they are all decked out for Christmas. Lots of very unique gift ideas there if you're looking for someone, and if you like excuse me, if you like vintage, definitely a little shop that you want to go visit in Hubbard. And the ladies there are just so sweet. They really are. I love it. So that was nice. Saw my one friend there and walked around with her a little bit. Her sister. And then what? Saturday we had Bunko. So I saw the ladies from Bunko. Excuse me. And I won't see them again now until the new year because we don't play over the holidays since everybody's schedules tend to get a little involved. isn't it cool how it just blends that color? I love it. It's just pretty. Giving a little bit of light and dark effect so that you have some shading going on there without having to worry about it too much. And then we're going to use this little bit of pink. Oh, actually, you know what? That would be darker under the puppy, wouldn't it? So I have to add a little bit more pink in here. So this is all in the background. Yepper. I'm getting a little wet there. I'm making my paper pill up. And then I'm going to use Old Olive for her pillow so that it all blends together. And I'm going to make it a little lighter than what a blanket was. And then where's my yucky pen? We will take I'm leaving the little doggy's nose white and basic gray. I'm using basic gray, and I'm actually going to use my yucky pen for this one, my yucky blender pen, because it kind of worked out. I put some gray towards the bottom of the book on the front and back covers, a little bit along the pages, and then that greenish yellow color that was stuck in that pen, kind of just blended it out, because the book might have like a scene on the front cover, and it kind of blended it in with coordinated it nicely with the blanket and pillow. Right. And that was it. Look at how cool you can do a watercolor picture with blender pens and the pencils. I like it. All right. Then I used the Calypso Coral, which I'm trying to pull that color from her sock, her fuzzy socks. I'm going to blur the paper. I'm going to blur the camera for a minute, I'm afraid. So apologies ahead of time, because I'm going to use my blender pen. Use a little bit of Calypso Coral. I don't want it dark in the background. Not at all. So I'm tapping a lot of the ink off on my scrap paper, and then I'm just giving the walls some color in the background, so she doesn't look like she's floating in a white cloud. And that's it. Then I'm going to do the same with the bottom of the picture and Old Olive, since her blanket was Old Olive. Tapping most of the color off. I just want to make it look like there is a ground to this. And remember, we're going to die cut this image out, so it doesn't need a lot anyway. Oops. Put my brushes away. I get the ink off of here as much as I can. Hope I'm not shaking the camera too much. Then I don't have to worry about cleaning my brushes, because I try to keep them for each color family. Before I stamp my greeting on here, I am going to die cut it, because I want to line my dies up. That'll be my designer series paper, and this will be my frame for her. And these are from the Scalloped contour dies. If you remember our set that we used so much in the springtime, the color and contour set, this was wonderful, and these are the coordinating dies. So yes, use your products that you have. You know, don't set them on a shelf, and especially dies. I'll tell you, If I turn right and try to walk, I'm going to trip myself because I keep a lot of my dies right here beside me from different sets because they just work. Oh, let's get rid of this so I don't keep making a blurry camera. And I can take my contour die and line it up around where I want my picture to be, kind of centering our friend. Keeping it a little bit up because I know I want to stamp my greeting up here. So I'm keeping it a little higher. And I can run that through my cut and emboss. Oh, sorry, I don't know why I'm, except it's winter. Oh, I lost my cap off my water. So there's our little picture. And before I put this away, I will cut a piece of designer series paper out of the background paper, for her background. Where did I put that one? Here. And I think I have to cut this down a little bit. Since this was already cut from previous projects, I need it to be a little narrower to fit through our cut and emboss machine. Try not to waste it, so I'm only cutting it as wide as I need for the die. And then I always stick my scraps back into the envelope, into the cello envelope that it came in. Because just like this card, you never know when you're going to need a specific color. Okay, I can use my other scalloped die to run this through here, and then we can get rid of this cut and emboss and quit shaking the whole table. My poor table's had a workout. For my family's Thanksgiving cards, I'm trying up a new technique that I had never done before with card making. And I did learn this from a different company that I had seen. And so I tried the die that it was demoed on, which is not Stampin' Up. So I don't really want to talk about the product too much on this video. And I know there are dies, actually I saw somebody do this with paper piecing. And I had never tried paper piecing before. And I had got this die when I saw it, specifically because I thought I wanted to try paper piecing, and I thought it would be good for my Thanksgiving cards. Well, as is my fashion, I picked one that was very detailed. And so it's fun, but it's taken a long time. Like, I probably should have started making them last month or something, because it is somewhat tedious. Not that I mind, it's actually therapeutic. Okay, so all the fuzzies off of here now, all the paper fuzz. And this is gonna line up on my background, on my designer series paper. I'm going to stamp my greeting in Calypso Coral up on the top right hand corner. That's my original card. I did do that in coral, right? Yes, I did. And where's my little scrap paper? Because I like to try this out on scrap paper first. Actually, this is seeming very inky. I must have re-inked it at some point. Cute font, too. camera's seeming very shaky today. I'm really not hitting my stamp pad that hard, although it looks like it. Hold your breath. Oh, it's a little crooked. Crap. Not too bad. A little bit. And then we need a Calypso Coral background. So I'm just using my 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I cut it at 5.5. I will score it at 4.25. Get my ink out of the way. And I can smooth that down, and I thought I didn't have my paper in there straight. Boy, I'm not doing good today at all, am I? Yes, it's Monday. I had a feeling it wasn't even on the top of my... It's not. And of course, it's just a sliver. There we go. That should even it up. Hope my die doesn't look too weird. You know, I hope it's got enough room. And here's a little trick, because I only was cutting off a sliver. I made some little paper dusties here. I have my my little sand eraser, and if I just go across the bottom of it with my sand eraser, it'll take off those little fuzzies, make it nice and smooth again. So just erase your troubles away. Let's make sure this fits. Yes, that'll work. Got a little. Okay. Where's my Seal Plus? There it is. So I can add here my painted picture, my faux painted picture. This would work really pretty as well on the shimmery white cardstock, if you didn't want to use just plain basic white and you have shimmery white. Will work. Be very pretty, actually. Ta-da! Try to get this so that it's not blurring. And that's our little girl and her puppy in her watercolor pencil design. So if you think you have someone out there who could use a little encouragement or a little boost, let them know that you're thinking of them. I'm going to do my insides while I'm on here. And my inserts are 4 by 5.25. And I'm just making sure, because I keep a stack of these behind me, I'm just making sure that that's what I had those at. I think this would be fun to do, well, with any one of these images, really. This would be pretty. Can make the sky blue in the background. Might have to do some more of those. Okay. Calypso Coral. add that saying in the middle on the insert. That sometimes the most productive thing you can do is relax. But I need my scrap paper because I haven't stamped this one yet, and I want to make sure it's going to. I want to make sure that I have the image on here straight. Yeah, that's right. I put my insert message on the bottom left. Nobody says you have to put it right in the middle of your card, right? Especially if I want to write a little note on there. How's that for being a mix it up? I know you're not empty. I just filled you. Yay. Oh, I started to tell you about my paper piecing. So if you're not used to that or have never done, I would recommend starting with, I'll have to go through my dies here and see what I have. Oh, you know what? That color and contours might be actually pretty. The one I just showed you. And there we have our cards, all ready to go. So what I was doing was, I found this die and it was called Countryside. And so I cut it out and I cut all the little pieces out of different colors, and then you go back and you glue them back into the die cut pieces. So this is what I've been working on, and those pieces are little. Oh my goodness. So what else do I have to tell you about the new catalog? You're going to be excited if you are a slimline card person, because you're going to be able to get envelopes for them finally. You don't have to make your own anymore or get them from other places. And they're actually very cute. Cool images coming. And also, oh, I know, remember at the first of the year, Stampin' Up! Will also do Celebration again, where you can earn free products for every $50 that you spend. So again, you know, joining as a demonstrator, this would be a great way to get your discount, get more bang for your buck during Celebration. Actually, when I joined, it was during Celebration, because you can get more items with your discount and get to your $50 quicker, which gets you more free products. So think about that. Put my pencils back, and I will hopefully see you all Friday. Oh, it's not right on my card. On my YouTube channel. I don't know what I'm going to do for a quick 15-minute card Friday, but I'll think of something before then. It's not going to be a paper piecing card, that's for sure. That took a lot more than 15 minutes. So this really didn't take too long. Maybe I'll just do another watercolor pencil. Maybe I'll do one of the other images off of there, because I do like this. I think it's a cute little picture. She came out good. I just was playing with my background, so I wasn't happy with the background, but I wanted to keep this so that I remembered how I colored her. So I'll just tuck that in there so I have it for reference. Everyone have a wonderful week. Stay warm, and then visit with me on Friday. We'll do a 15-minute card. So thanks for being here. Bye.